It suits you perfectly.
When I sat down at the designated seat, she laughed with a high-pitched, malicious voice like a witch. The table at the designated seat was wooden and black with mold, accompanied by a rusty folding chair. There were also several garbage bags and stacks of old magazines around, making it look like a dump. She still seemed to think I was poor. Now I understood why she insisted I attend the reunion. She wanted to lure me into a false sense of security and then mock me like she used to. Regret always comes too late, I said, and decided to leave the venue. She couldn't possibly imagine the immense misfortune and despair that would soon befall her. My name is John Brown. I'm 45 and single. My job is busy but enjoyable, and I make a decent salary, so my life is fulfilling. I lost my father to illness when I was 5 and grew up in a single-parent household, living a pretty poor life. I couldn't afford new clothes, and I wore shoes until they were completely worn out. Even the school supplies I had when I started elementary school were hand-me-downs from someone else. Despite this, my classmates never made fun of me and always treated me kindly. That friendship continued into high school. I even thought those happy days would last forever. However, while my friends were naturally moving on to college, I chose to start working. My mother fell ill and couldn't continue working. She told me to go to college, but I stubbornly refused and entered the workforce ahead of everyone else. After graduation, I got a job sorting parts at a local factory. I changed jobs a few times after that and ended up where I am now. My mother passed away when I was 20, and I have no family left. I thought living as a bachelor wouldn't be so bad. Then, one day, I got a call on my cell phone. It was from my high school friend, Ryan Smith.
John, long time no see. How have you been?
Hearing the familiar voice of an old friend made me smile. Oh, it's been a while. The last time we met was at your wedding, right?
Yeah, thanks for coming then. How's work? Everything going well?
Well, it's going okay. Talking with an old friend brought back memories, and for a moment, it felt like I was back in high school. So, what's up today?
Actually, we're having a reunion next month. I'm the organizer. You're coming, right?
I'm not sure. As I talked with Ryan, I remembered a very depressing and painful event.
What's wrong? Is it about Emily?
Yeah, Emily Johnson was a classmate who constantly harassed me. She was the daughter of the president of Johnson Industries, the largest company in town, and came from a very wealthy family. To her, someone like me, who looked the picture of poverty, was the perfect target. She mocked my appearance, belongings, clothes, and sometimes even my mother. One day in the classroom, she said,
Hey everyone, look at John's pencil case. It's made of cloth. Where did he get such an old-fashioned thing? It's unbelievable.
Give it back. This is a keepsake from my dad.
Really? Can't even afford a new pencil case. Your mom must not care about you. If it were my mom, she'd never let me carry something so dirty. Maybe you're not loved much?
Emily's words made the other girls burst into laughter. I couldn't say anything and just bit my lip. Then she took my pencil case and threw it into the trash to hurt me even more.
My dad says that being poor is proof of not trying hard enough. I'm sure your mom doesn't try hard either. They say that kind of thing can be passed on to the kids.
I knew better than anyone how hard my mom worked. I couldn't stand her insulting my mother, and I lost it, raising my fist.
Stop, John. If you react, you're playing right into her hands.
Just in time, Ryan stepped in to stop me. Emily's parents were PT presidents and had influence with the school board. Ryan knew that if I did something stupid here, it would only put me at a disadvantage. Though it was frustrating, I had to shove my fist back into my pocket. Seeing that I wouldn't hit her, Emily only escalated her behavior, and I remained her target until graduation. Thankfully, everyone else, besides Emily and her group, treated me normally as a friend, which was my only relief. Unpleasant memories raced through my mind, and there was a moment of silence between Ryan and me.
I heard Emily went abroad to study a while ago, so she might not attend. I can't be sure, but just come. You want to see everyone, right?
Ryan's words made my chest tighten. As much as I look forward to seeing old friends, I honestly didn't want to face someone who left such a bitter mark on my past. Sorry, but I need a little more time to think about it.
Got it. I won't push you, but I'm hoping for a positive response.
Thanks for inviting me, Ryan. I thanked him and hung up the phone. I was torn between wanting to see old friends and not wanting to see Emily, making it hard to decide. One day, on my way back from an outing, I was drenched in sweat after walking around in 90-degree weather, so I decided to take a break at a cafe along the street. I sat down and ordered an iced coffee. While I was waiting, the person sitting across from me spoke up.
John,
It was Emily, someone I could never forget. For a moment, I froze and quickly looked away from her. Memories of her various harassments flooded my mind, bringing up indescribable emotions. Oh, hi. Long time no see. What a coincidence. I managed to squeeze out a response, and suddenly, Emily started apologizing to me.
I'm really sorry for what I did back then. I truly feel terrible about it.
Her sudden apology caught me off guard. I never expected to be apologized to after 30 years in such a place.
I did some really awful things. I've wanted to apologize to you for so long, but I couldn't find the courage. And now there's the upcoming reunion. I was worried that you might not come because of me.
Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. She genuinely looked sorry.
I was studying in France until recently. I did volunteer work there and had a lot of different experiences. That's when I started thinking about you, John.
About me?
Yes, I suddenly realized my past mistakes and felt ashamed. Then I knew I had to apologize, even if I wouldn't be forgiven, so I came back.
I couldn't believe she returned to apologize to me. After all this, I couldn't refuse to forgive her. It's okay now. It was 30 years ago. When I said that, Emily's face lit up.
Really? You'll forgive me?
Yeah. If you feel bad and apologize, I won't hold it against you.
Thank goodness. You're so kind, John. I can't believe I treated someone like you so badly.
Emily said this while talking to me, using animated gestures. Her exaggerated reactions, almost like a stage actress, made me smile a little.
But it's really a coincidence meeting you here. Do you live nearby, John?
No, I just stopped by for work.
I see. I still live at home.
I realized that this area was near my hometown. I hadn't been back in a while, so I didn't think much about it.
Oh, I have to go. Make sure to come to the reunion. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, see you then. With that, Emily left the cafe. Even though she had aged, Emily had none of the venom she used to have and radiated a kind atmosphere. People really do change. I muttered to myself and immediately contacted Ryan to confirm my attendance at the reunion. And then, the day of the reunion arrived. I met Ryan at the station, and we headed to the venue together. Aren't you supposed to be there early since you're the organizer?
It's fine. I asked the others to handle the setup so I could talk with you.
Ryan and I walked down memory lane as we made our way to the venue. Along the way, I told him about my encounter with Emily.
Wow, I can't believe Emily said that.
A lot happened, but I decided to let it all go. So let's just enjoy today. However, as soon as we arrived at the venue, Ryan looked puzzled.
That's strange. The decorations don't match what we discussed.
The place was adorned with flashy pink tablecloths, an overwhelming number of flower wreaths that looked like they belonged at a store opening, and large teddy bear figurines. The decor didn't suit the chic hotel atmosphere at all. It's got a unique vibe, that's for sure. Ryan immediately confronted another organizer to find out what was going on. Then, one of the organizers, Michael Jones, spoke up.
Actually, Emily suddenly said she wanted to handle the decorations as an organizer. She said she would cover the costs, so we let her do it. I never thought it would turn out like this, but since she did it, we can't really complain.
Michael said this with a wry smile, trying hard to defend Emily. I remembered that Emily was the daughter of the president of Johnson Industries, the largest company in town. I also recalled that Michael worked for a subcontractor of Johnson Industries. I had a bad feeling and exchanged glances with Ryan. Then, a loud voice came from the back of the venue.
I've been waiting for you, John. I prepared a special seat just for you. Come quickly.
Emily, already drinking, appeared with a flushed face from the alcohol. Unlike the last time, she had a mean look and the same malicious eyes as in high school. Several classmates around her gave me awkward smiles. The special seat was prepared in the farthest corner of the venue.
Come on, sit down without hesitation. It's fancier than the table at your poor house, right?
Emily laughed loudly, and a few people gave forced smiles.
It suits you perfectly.
When I sat down at the designated seat, she laughed with a high-pitched, malicious voice like a witch. The table at the designated seat was wooden and black with mold, accompanied by a rusty folding chair. There were also several garbage bags and stacks of old magazines around, making it look like a dump.
This suits a poor person like you perfectly. I'm so glad I insisted you come. This is hilarious.
She still seemed to think I was poor. Now I understood why she insisted I attend the reunion. She wanted to lure me into a false sense of security and then mock me like she used to. I had to suppress my laughter at how ridiculous she looked, completely unaware of who I had become. As I thought about how to explain and surprise her, an idea came to mind. Regret always comes too late, I said, and decided to leave the venue. She couldn't possibly imagine the immense misfortune and despair that would soon befall her. I told Ryan that I was leaving and headed for the exit. Ryan was furious with Emily's behavior, but as an organizer, couldn't leave the event.
Why did it have to turn out like this? I'm sorry, John. It's my fault for not handling this better. Don't let her ruin your night. Let's enjoy it with just us.
While I appreciated Ryan's words, I couldn't stay. I was disgusted with myself for not questioning her apology from the start and just wanted to leave. It's not your fault. Don't worry about it. It's surprising how much influence Johnson Industries still has. I had a feeling from the reactions around her that many of our classmates still lived in town and benefited from Johnson Industries. If they went against her, Their own lives could be threatened. Because of that fear, no one dared to stand up to her. It showed just how influential the company was. As I was talking to Ryan, Emily's loud voice echoed for everyone to hear.
Poor people are so pathetic. Don't you all agree?
I no longer recognized her voice as anything but noise and watched her with a cold gaze from a distance. I'll bring her down from her high horse soon enough. That thought ran through my mind. Ryan, sorry, but I just remembered some work I need to do. See you later.
Even on a Sunday? That's tough. Take care.
I immediately got into a taxi and headed back to the office. The cab fare cost me $100, but I didn't have the energy to take the train. I started working alone in the empty office. I had an important business meeting involving $10 million the next day, so I needed to prepare. As I reviewed the documents, I couldn't wait for tomorrow. The next day, I headed to the meeting. Normally, a sales representative would go, but I decided to go alone at the last minute. I arrived at the meeting place, Johnson Industries. When I gave my name at the reception, I was greeted warmly by the president, Robert Johnson.
Hi, John. I'm honored that the president yourself would come for this meeting.
I'd like to get straight to the point and keep this brief. My blunt response puzzled Robert. He must have wondered why I was so cold when we were about to discuss a $10 million deal. Once we were in the president's office, I got straight to the point. The deal is off.
What?
He looked quite flustered by my sudden statement. Of course, that would be the case. Even for Johnson Industries, they wouldn't want to let go of a $10 million deal so easily.
What is the meaning of this? Why such a sudden change?
I'm sorry, but we found a company that offered better terms. We've decided to go with them.
Wait, you can't just drop this on us out of nowhere. Canceling the deal like this is incredibly unprofessional.
Just as I thought. Robert had a short temper. He was known for kowtowing to people in higher positions, but being arrogant towards employees and subcontractors. There were even rumors that he would use any means necessary to get his way if things didn't go as he wanted. Your company is well rooted in the local community, isn't it? I'm sure the people around here benefit greatly from your presence.
Of course they do. Our annual sales are $10 million, the highest in the area.
However, our company aims to expand globally. Our policy is to increase dealings with companies that have a broader perspective rather than those that only operate locally. Hearing this, Robert seemed to have an idea and said,
In that case, my daughter Emily is our secretary. She's very talented and studied in France. It's the age of globalization, you know. Emily, come here.
He called out to the secretary's office next to the president's office. Emily appeared, looking rather annoyed.
Dad, what is it? I'm busy doing my nails.
Come on, Emily, introduce yourself. You can speak French, right? It's all about globalization.
What? What's that? I only speak English. And what's globalization? Is that a new artist?
Robert turned pale at Emily's response. Emily was still looking at her nails while talking to Robert, so she hadn't noticed me yet.
Emily, how could you?
What's the big deal, Dad? Why are you so worked up?
After dismissing Robert's words, she finally noticed me and gave a sly smile.
John, what are you doing here? Are you here to ask my dad for a job because you're poor? Sorry, but we don't hire poor people.
It seemed Emily still hadn't realized how mistaken she was. Robert was completely exasperated by Emily's behavior. Ignoring this, I continued. Thanks for yesterday. Today, I'm here to cancel the $10 million deal.
What? $10 million? What are you talking about?
As the president, I'm here to tell you we won't be signing the contract. Was my English too difficult to understand? As I said this with a smile, Emily turned bright red. She understood I was mocking her.
Dad, who is this guy? He's being so rude to me, the company secretary.
So, Emily, you're the secretary, right? Any company that hires someone like you as a secretary must be pretty low level. I'm glad we're not making a deal. I spoke my mind calmly. No company has a future if they make someone who doesn't even know the meaning of globalization a secretary, even if she is the president's daughter. I suspected her study abroad was just an excuse to party without actually studying.
Don't be ridiculous. How dare you mock me even though you're poor? Dad, kick him out. Now.
Emily, this man is the president of Brown Corporation. Don't be rude.
Brown Corporation? Never heard of it. Sounds like a no-name company.
Emily continued to look down on me. But with the next words, she would learn the reality. The nail polish you're using, the manicure you're doing, even the clothes you're wearing were all designed and sold by my company.
Don't be ridiculous. I got these directly from France. They aren't sold in America.
That's right. We had them designed by French designers and sold in France. You can check for yourself. Emily, hearing my words, immediately took off her gown and checked the tag.
JB, could it be John Brown?
It must have been unimaginable for her that the brand she admired was owned by the very person in front of her.
Dad, is Brown Corporation really that big of a company? Bigger than ours?
Our company can't even come close to theirs, no matter how much we try. You should apologize immediately.
Robert quietly urged Emily to apologize, trying to gauge my reaction. But I had no intention of making any deals, even with an apology. Last year's sales were around $100 million, I think.
$100 million? That's impossible.
Emily finally realized that the person she looked down on as poor was far above her in reality.
This can't be true. He was so poor, he couldn't even buy a pencil case. His mother was sick, and he didn't go to college. How could someone like that start a brand in France and have annual sales of $100?
It was understandably hard for her to believe. However, the turning point came when the company I joined after high school started handling fashion products in addition to industrial products like screws and bolts. I was chosen to be a member of the newly established department, and I began studying and researching fashion intensively, making proactive suggestions that became big hits. Driven by the desire to study fashion more seriously, I quit my job at 28 and went to France alone for language studies. While attending school there, I also learned about global fashion, and after returning to the US, I started my own company. With no backing, the beginning was tough, but by leveraging online sales and social media, I steadily built a customer base, leading to my current success. The brand business in France also thrived with the help of friends I made during my studies.
In any case, please reconsider and sign the contract. I'm begging you.
I refuse. Now, if you'll excuse me. As I stood up to leave, Robert clung to me, trying to stop me from leaving.
Please wait. Our company is on the brink. If you cancel the contract now.
That was none of my concern. I coldly brushed him off, and Emily sharply protested to me.
How could you treat my dad like this? You're awful.
I'll return those words to you. You're the awful one. Emily was shocked by my harsh demeanor. Leaving the dumbfounded father and daughter in the president's office, I walked out of the company. A week later, I received a call on my personal phone from an unknown number.
Hey, the company is about to go under. What did you do?
The shrill voice belonged to Emily. She must have forced one of our classmates to give her my number. I have no idea what you're talking about. In fact, I'd like to ask you why the company's troubles are being blamed on me.
Don't play dumb. You canceled that $10 million deal. Of course, it's because of that. My dad has been running around like crazy ever since.
Whether to sign a contract or not is our decision. That's how business works. Emily, not satisfied with my response, continued to accuse me.
It's just $10 million. Just sign the contract. I'll apologize for what happened before, and we can call it even. Isn't that good enough?
No, thank you. I will never do business with your company again. That's final. Realizing the conversation was going nowhere, I decided to end the call. But before I could, I heard a loud "wait" on the other end.
I'm really sorry. I went too far and I've been reflecting on it. I was just drunk and got carried away. I'm really sorry.
Her tearful apology was desperate, but I wouldn't be fooled by the same trick twice. I heard you were aiming to become an actress, Emily. No wonder you're such a good performer.
What?
Emily's exaggerated reactions and crying scenes were just like those of an actress on stage. Actually, right after canceling the contract, I asked a few local friends about Emily. It turned out that after graduating college, she moved to New York to pursue an acting career and joined a talent agency, but she never made it big. Luckily, her family had the financial means, so she enjoyed city life without struggling. However, at the age of 35, she was advised to give up acting and find a different path due to her age, leading to her dismissal from the agency. Afterward, lost and unsure about her life, she once again relied on her family's wealth and went to France to study. Instead of studying French, she ended up spending her time partying. Her parents, fed up, called her back and gave her a token position as a secretary under their supervision. At 45, having grown into an ignorant and mean-spirited woman, her parents must have been at their wits' end.
Why would you say that? I'm genuinely apologizing. John, you're being cruel.
How long are you going to keep up this act? No matter how much you apologize to me, your company isn't going to be saved. Instead of wasting time on this, maybe you should help your dad. As I calmly said this, I could see Emily's frustration growing.
Don't get too cocky just because you're a CEO now. What's this about $100 million in annual sales? It's just $100 million.
Well, your company is 1/10 of that size.
That's enough. You'll regret this.
With those parting words, she hung up angrily. Emily was probably fuming with rage right now. Feeling somewhat relieved, I went back to work. A few days later, I got a call from Ryan, who told me some shocking news.
John, did you see the news? Johnson Industries is involved in accounting fraud. It's all over the news.
Yeah, I'm watching it. So it finally came out. Accounting fraud is when a company manipulates its financial statements to make its financial position look better than it actually is. Engaging in such practices indicates that the company is nearing its end. Ryan seemed to sense something from my lack of surprise.
Did you report them?
No way. External parties can't access the financial statements. It was probably an inside job. Indeed, The whistleblower was an insider at Johnson Industries, but I was the one who instigated it. Michael, who was an organizer at the reunion, worked for a subcontractor of Johnson Industries. Realizing this, I contacted him immediately and asked him to investigate Johnson Industries' misconduct. That's how this information came to light. Michael, always the responsible type who served as class president back in school, was deeply upset about the whole situation. Despite enduring unreasonable things in the past for the sake of his livelihood, Michael couldn't tolerate the misconduct of the main contractor. He quickly decided, along with a few colleagues, to blow the whistle. From there, it was easy. The fraud was quickly exposed, and Johnson Industries was in crisis in no time. After watching TV for a while, I received another call from Emily.
What are we supposed to do? My dad went to the police, and the media are swarming around our house. My mom and I can't even leave. This is all your fault.
Robert's misconduct has nothing to do with me. It's his own doing.
If you had signed that $10 million contract, none of this would have happened. What's your goal in ruining our lives?
By the end, Emily was almost in tears. This time, it didn't seem like an act.
I'm really sorry for everything. Please do something to help us. I'm begging you.
Despite her desperate tone, I felt no inclination to forgive. Like I said, regret always comes too late. Emily finally seemed to grasp the meaning of my words. I ended the call and blocked her number. There was no need to stay involved any longer. I felt a sense of relief, as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, knowing that I had finally achieved my revenge after 30 years. After that, Robert, the president of Johnson Industries, was arrested for fraud. It was discovered that they had engaged in accounting fraud to secure substantial loans from financial institutions. Emily's mother, who was an executive, along with other board members, was also arrested as accomplices, leading to Johnson Industries' bankruptcy. The collapse of the largest company in the area sent shockwaves through the community. Emily, who had always used her father's power to act arrogantly, received no sympathy and became a target of scorn, with no one to protect her anymore. She was left with enormous debts and large compensations to pay to business partners, even after selling their home and company assets. How would a 45-year-old woman with no skills or experience repay such debts? No one would help her, and she was met only with disdainful looks. For someone who once reigned supreme, the days ahead would be unbearably difficult. After that, she moved from her mansion to a cheap apartment with a rent of $350. To make ends meet, she took a part-time job at a supermarket 5 stations away, preparing deli foods. She worked behind the scenes to avoid being recognized as the daughter of Johnson Industries. However, never having worked properly before, she quickly struggled with workplace relationships and quit the part-time job within a month. Now, she barely makes a living doing day labor at night. If her apology at the cafe had been genuine, would I have gone this far? After thinking for a while, I suddenly realized something. It all stemmed from her own actions. Canceling the contract was a business decision and had nothing to do with her personally. The company's fraud was just a case of self-destruction. However, karma has a way of coming back to you. This incident deeply reinforced that belief in me. I hope she is now reflecting and trying to live a better life. As for me, I decided to take advantage of Johnson Industries' collapse. I bought the land where Johnson Industries used to be and established a branch office for my company, employing former Johnson Industries employees. I'm currently busy with the construction of the new office and setting up new departments. About a month later, I got another call from Ryan.
I'm thinking of redoing the reunion, John. This time, you have to come.
Let me cover the cost this time. I was thinking of asking Michael to be the organizer. Is that okay?
Sure, but were you and Michael close?
Actually, after that, Michael started working for me as a finance manager. I admired his courage for blowing the whistle on his own company and wanted him to work with me.
John, thank you so much for giving someone like me a chance.
Let's skip the formalities. You're the organizer. Let's make this the best reunion ever. Michael and I shook hands firmly, and I went back to work. With the anticipation of the upcoming reunion, I felt even more motivated in my job.